Hello and welcome to AI Hotline. We're going to talk about some AI stuff and a little bit of automation and just see how everybody's using AI in their own world.
My name's Heather Grizzard, and I'm in Atlanta. Been in Sub 2 for about 2 years, been in automation for about 15, and AI is just really the next step. So I try to stay as up to date as possible.
Awesome. And I'm April Elias. My specialty is acquisition. So whether that's people or property, I have applied AI solutions and optimizations to that. I've always been really tech forward. And so AI is of huge interest, and we always love to have conversations around it to hopefully provide some value.
And I guess I skipped me. I'm Jamie White. I'm from Delaware. I've been in the construction industry for probably 35, 40 years and have always done technology in the background. So I do a lot of the automations and a lot of the back end systems that make a lot of things work. Anybody have any new releases or anything like that they want to bring up or any new ideas?
I'd say we kick it off with what we were just discussing backstage in the green room.
The green room.
Well, Heather's is the orange room, I think.
Orange. It's glowing tonight.
Yes. Yeah. So we were just chatting about the adoption of AI and technology and socials and all the things, and the people who avoid using technology on most levels, and just how interesting that is and how fast the world is moving. And so I know everybody's probably seen it play out in their lives in one scenario or another, work, personal, hobby. And just some thoughts around people, the willingness to embrace it. And we're always super surprised at the size of the audience that hasn't even touched it out of fear of, actually, I'd have to speculate on what all of the fears are, but I would say mostly it's the fear of losing a bit of yourself and what makes you human and creative. And some people feel like it's robbing them of like inspiration and creativity, or maybe not robbing, but maybe replacing. So we can start there with any industry.
I could see both sides of that um, because it both boosts your creativity, but then it also removes your creativity at the same time. It's like this weird, like soul sucking thing sometimes because there's been a couple of days where ChatGPT has been down, and I'm like, how am I supposed to like have my ideas? It's like that's not good. So like just sitting down and like disconnecting from technology, even in this age of AI, where you can have the answer instantly at your fingertips and be able to just use your brain to think through a problem and still come up with creative solutions. Like you still have to flex that muscle. So
Yeah.
I could see where people wouldn't want AI to desensitize them to their own original thought.
Yeah, well said. And I think that's exactly it. Desensitize them for sure.
And I use my squirrel brain, so for me it's actually backwards because I can throw something in the chat real quick and go back to what I'm working on and then fall back to it. And it kind of like memorizes my ideas, but it helps me catch up at the same time.
Hmm.
So I can see both sides.
Yeah.
But it does help me amplify my thoughts. Like I don't always use it for the answer. I use it to help me strategize.
Hmm. Hmm. It's a good like assist or collaborator, proofreader, help you say things a little bit more articulate for
Yes, I
sure.
love for it to rewrite. It makes me feel smart.
Well, I like the branches now. I think that's cool because how many times have you started in a chat and then been like, "Oh, I've got this idea and this idea and this idea," and you're like, "Oh, I wish I didn't mix it all up here." So
Yeah.
the branch feature is cool.
How many times have you been able to ask it something and it gives you the wrong answer? You know it's wrong, and then you try to get it to prove to you that it's wrong.
Yeah.
I just want to like punch my screen sometimes with ChatGPT 5. It's bad. It's just like so it's like a dull answer compared to 4.0. And so I it takes me about 5 times longer to get to the response I want as opposed to 4.0 where I can get there like within one or two.
I watched a documentary the other day on that, and a lot of it was about there's so many lawsuits going out after ChatGPT because, like, apparently it was talking people into suicide, like jumping off a
Mhm.
bridge or killing their boyfriend or school shootings. So that's one of the reasons, per se, why they dumbed it down to not be your best friend. Because as the best friend, it was giving some people were taking the advice incorrectly and doing things that they shouldn't have. So that was supposedly part of the reason of the 5.0
So
dumb down.
I would have to take the capitalism approach and say that 4.0 probably uses a lot more resources than 5.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that too, for sure. Like, for sure. It's 5 is just more economical, and you can tell by the output.
It's literally less words all the time.
Literally. Yeah. It's, like, on concise mode or something. Um, and it's not and mine'll ask me, "Do you need that to be a little warmer?" I'm like,
Yes,
"Yeah."
please. You sound like a robot.
Yeah, you should have done that from the start because of the way the global settings are in you, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's like it ignores the settings. Like
Mhm.
there's not enough CPU power in it to even remember the settings.
I almost feel like in 5, they let us I mean, we've been able to customize the global settings essentially, but it's kind of like it's the perception of customization, but it doesn't always use its resources to pull from those fields. Right? So if you feel like you've customized it as a user, you're like, this feels good, right? But then when it comes down to it, it is kind of frustrating on the other end because it's like clearly you're not referencing the customization or the knowledge or the memories or anything.
I'll tell you when it does reference the customization in a very weird way is I noticed with the 5 model with the voice, like the conversation that you can have with it. Mine, I have it like give me very direct and concise answers. And so whenever it's answering me about a question, it'll say, "Hey, I'm going to answer you in a very direct and concise way." Like it will literally pull from my settings to describe its answer. Like this
Yes.
is so weird.
Mine does the same thing too, but then I'm like, you just said a bunch of words to tell me that you're going to do that. So that's annoying. Yeah. Yeah.
Claude's even worse at that.
Yeah.
Like when it's better now that it has the memory recall, but before that, it's like you had to copy from your old chat and drop it back in because your chat was full, and then it would repeat everything you just put back in. It's like, okay, you just filled my chat back up again, and it gives you like a 5 word answer and it's full again. It's like this doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's frustrating and all that context doesn't parse over to a new chat properly either. So,
Hmm.
like I feel like it the long conversations, it's just not built for that. Somebody who has like 170 questions.
And 5.0 does think a lot longer, but I don't know if its answers are any better.
Mhm.
And they're worse. It's
Like I
like
Yeah.
think
it
it's
takes
just
longer to answer worse.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's just slowing down the system, so it's saving tokens.
Yeah. I don't know the technology that um back to the resistance or embracing AI and the example of the um and I probably should have looked it up, but I just heard that 50 Cent song. Did you guys both hear that 50 Cent song on the Many Men, how they converted it to that 1960s version?
Mm-mm.
Did either one of you hear? Oh, so you've got to look it up afterwards. It's magical. Well, first of all, I'm a huge 50 Cent fan. I wouldn't want to meet many people, like, because I really don't care about like celebrities or stars, but I would want to meet 50 Cent because
Well, I
I just
saw
think
him in Boston.
I didn't see him in Boston.
I saw him in Boston
Where?
at the hotel.
Dude, I did not see him. This is the first time hearing
It
of
was
this.
like a little rude. Just I guess more like off-putting. Yeah, he walked through the lobby and everybody was like, "Yo, that's 50 Cent." And so he was like decked out in like this bright blue tracksuit thing with his chains, and he was just walking through and he was like not making any eye contact, and he went directly from the door to the elevator, and like he was a man on a mission and nobody could stop him.
Oh gosh. Well, I didn't know that and I didn't see him. I wouldn't want to meet him when he's in a bad mood like that then.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
a
just
little.
think just his business acumen is remarkable. And that's the only reason that I'd want to meet him. And I did like his like first album when it came out. But that song, Many Men, they took it, I don't know who they is, but someone took it and they AI'd it to like a 50s, 60s version that slowed down, and they even put a video to it, and it's so good and it's crazy and it's eerie to hear because it's not 50 Cent's voice, it's his lyrics repurposed in a totally different like genre essentially. And because it's kind of like a soul, like I don't even know what to call it, but it's like kind of creepy that it's so good. Like, it's so good. So you're definitely whoever you just definitely have to look it up and be like, "Wow, this is incredible." And so the podcast, because I'd seen it and then I heard about it on a podcast, and they were discussing on the podcast about how a lot of artists are resistant to it, just because they feel that it takes the human element and the human out of art. And I can totally appreciate that position. But then I'm also like, it's so creative that I feel like you can just stretch your mind so far in collaboration with AI. So I definitely see both sides of the story for sure.
Yeah, I got to get out of ChatGPT 5, or yeah, like that's just limiting my creativity. So like
It's
I've gone
making you
over.
dumb.
Yeah, I'm like in Manus now. So like I did the whole newsletter generation and everything in Manus, and it actually did a pretty good job on the copy, because it utilizes so many different models.
Hmm.
Um, and then it was like, let me just go 5 steps further than what you actually wanted. And instead of copy, I'm going to build the newsletter for you. And I'm like, okay. I guess that's not the worst thing. I have the
Yeah.
credits. I still have like 60,000 credits from the Manus craze that I went through earlier this year. And they just kept giving me credits. I'm like, okay, I'll take them.
I like how it's like you have an idea and then Manus is like, "You want me to build a website?"
Yeah.
Sure. I was just asking a question, but okay.
Do you still have 4 accounts?
Me, I have two, but I'm only paying for one. But the other, like, whenever you don't pay for it, it's still okay because all your credits stay in there. So all I have to do is activate it on the lowest plan, and I have like 70,000 credits in that one.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
It's a lot, and I'm just like, it's going to take me several months to get through this.
Mhm. Mhm. So I'm interested to hear both of your perspectives on how do you think that it's so, meaning, of course, AI is eliminating jobs in a lot of categories, but then it's possibly creating jobs. And I know we touched on this a little bit, I think, in a previous conversation, but have you like seen that like in real life anywhere for sure to where you've noticed like, oh, I'm because I have a couple examples that pop right to the top of my mind, but you've interacted with a company or you've done something or anything at all to where you're like, oh, that used to be a person and now it's AI.
I mean, there's several restaurants that are popping up where they no longer have servers, like the little robots are coming around. There's a
Yeah.
sushi place near my dad's who we like to go to, and it's like it just has a smiley face and its belly button. And like it'll sing a song whenever it delivers the food. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, this is kind of more enjoyable than an actual person.
And how
Exactly.
do you tip?
Mm.
I mean, do you tip? Like
Right.
that's a great question because like the tipping industry, if it's not a human, do they need tips? So it's saving everyone money, it's saving the business money, it's saving the customer money.
Well, they probably would have marked up the food to cover the cost of the robot.
Hmm, probably.
I would have. for
I've seen
sure.
quite a few businesses that got rid of people and then realized they needed people to run the technology.
Hmm.
Um, I've also seen some businesses shift a lot of positions around. Um, I think because of the economy itself, there's a lot of people eliminating jobs overall. And some of that I think they're blaming on AI, but I don't know if it's truly AI.
Mm,
Like if they're doing less sales or they're just like the profits aren't there, there's not having as many customers, and it's like I need to eliminate somebody. So as they start to eliminate, they start adding AI, but they were going to eliminate them anyway. And then there's also industries where it's just literally wiping people out and saying, "Hey, we don't need 10,000 of you right now. We can just get rid of you because AI took over."
hmm.
And another thing I read on that is like, okay, you get rid of 10,000 employees and you just hired whatever 2,000, 2,500 subcontractors to do all the AI, but you're hiring them outsourced instead of in house. So again, a lot of shift or a lot of movement. And I think some of it falls back into, again, like we started with, do you use AI to help boost and amplify what you're doing? And that helps keep your job. And if you're using AI to replace your job, you end up getting replaced.
Right. Right. Yeah. I noticed, so I called GoDaddy. I feel like if I leave GoDaddy, it is kind of like I associate the, getting jumped out of a gang. Essentially, I say that with Apple all the time. Like I could never leave. I'd never get my contacts out. It feels like that just because I don't know. But I want to leave. I like GoDaddy, but I'd like to move my domain somewhere else. Anyway, I called GoDaddy, and usually because of the type of account I have, they would put me straight. I would have no wait. I would straight get a live person. And so now it put me through all this AI virtual assistant, take it to your text type of thing that I like a chat or I like a text. Sometimes that's, easier to communicate. But I just thought that was interesting because I certainly saw it at GoDaddy. The other thing is this is in favor of the trades, of course, which I think that's kind of been a hot topic. The trades can kind of name their price at the moment. Some people are like, oh, there's going to be robots to do these things. But in the interim, until that's figured out, 10, 15 years, whatever it is, on my W-2 call, we have a practice around construction disputes and advisory. We work on billion-dollar projects, hundreds of million-dollar, big construction infrastructure projects. And they were saying how the construction of all these data centers to support AI and support all of this compute power and all of this energy that's needed, um, they struggle to find qualified electricians. And so then I watched what Pace's video with, is it Matt Fisher, the guy from Alaska? Is that his name? Did you guys watch that video that he posted about
Bill Fisher.
what is it?
Bill
Bill
Fisher.
Fisher.
Bill Fisher. Okay. Like I can see him. I know he's in Alaska. I met him and his lovely wife a couple times. But so he was saying how electricians in Arizona might make like $50 an hour because part of the video was talking about how did you get the trades together to do this fix and flip as a partnership. And so he was saying, yeah, well, you'll notice there's kind of a seasonality in Arizona because they'll pay electricians 50 to 60 bucks an hour. But then if you send them to Montana, there's so many jobs in Montana, they're paying them 1,200 bucks a day.
Wow.
And
I
it's like,
be an
that's
electrician in
crazy.
Montana.
Huh?
So I need to go be an electrician in Montana.
Yeah, exactly. And so my oldest son, Cody, he made a pivot out of his specialty coatings engineering that he was doing. And he took an opportunity to like earn partnership in a commercial electrical company because they're so starved for talent, um, that and qualified people. like they have so many contracts again for data centers. Their big customers are like Verizon, Xfinity, stuff like that, to do the commercial electrical work. It is literally like name your price. And they're putting in these high bids just because they're like, we have so much work. We'll put a bid in that's like out of this world. And then they're winning them. They're winning them.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's crazy. So you ain't
And then the
AI in
problem
that
is,
right
you win it.
now.
Yeah, then the problem is
Huh?
you win it, and you still can't find people to come work.
Right, right. And that's what they were doing. They were like, we wanted to at least put our hat in the ring to show interest, for the future or whatever, but we had to supermarket up, and they're like, okay, everybody else said no, we will pay you 5 times the amount because they make so much money on that electrical infrastructure. They don't like they can do it. So I thought that was interesting too. I'm like, wow, because everybody talks about this gold rush around AI. There is a gold rush around some of these trades that are essential to get some of this infrastructure in place to execute all this AI stuff.
I agree.
So, yeah.
And
So
it's
maybe
this
I'll
is
go be a journeyman electrician real quick.
this is still AI based, but there's a pair of glasses that you can wear that blueprints and everything can be dropped onto it. So, like as an electrician, as an example, if they're running wire or drilling through studs in residential or like whatever they're doing, but it can literally show exactly where to drill the hole. It'll tell you if you have the drill level or not when you're drilling. And like every place you look, it shows all the schematics. And at any point, you can switch field. So it's like, is there an HVAC duct here or a plumbing duct here? Like, can I put the wire this way? And it shows you all the things that you're trying to work around just by looking through the glasses. And you're in a plain old rough environment.
You know what that reminds me of? The backup camera that can see around the corner.
Yep.
That's what it's like. And it always like trips my kids out, or at least when I first got my car that had this a couple years ago, when you put it in reverse, there's the aerial view on the camera. They're like, where are the cameras at? How do they see the top of the car and like the whole driveway in the real house? Like, how does it, see all that? And I was like, yeah, it's kind of trippy.
I mean, didn't like was it like 2 years ago when the metaverse dropped and everybody was thinking, "Oh, this is gonna take over the world." I haven't heard anything about the metaverse. Have you guys?
No, just that like Snoop Dogg was selling real estate or buying real estate in like the digital world somehow.
One
Yeah, that's
token,
all I
right?
heard. It was literally a blip for like maybe a month that I heard about it.
Yeah, it was like pretty big then because everybody was thinking like, and then I think Meta's stock shot up because people were like, "This is gonna become the next reality. Like this is gonna take over the world." And then now it's just like it was a cool idea, but then it didn't happen. And I feel like that's kind of some of the things that are launching now. It's like, is it actually going to get a foothold in the market? Because there's so much stuff coming out.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And the other thing is a lot of the AI projects or people trying to implement AI, a lot of them have failed. There's been a lot of wasted dollars on trying to implement AI in enterprise or in business and everything else. And so it's like that kind of kicks the can down the road for people to be like losing their job immediately. So maybe to your point, Jamie, the people who were like, "Oh, this got all AI'd," and they figured out, "Oh, this doesn't work," and then they bring some of the people back because they actually have to take a step back and not get so excited about AIing everything and fix their business problems first. So Heather and I, like, we talk about this all the time. All the time. People just are like, yeah, give me all the things. And it's like, well, if you don't have awareness around what's working, what's not, then you can AI it and it's going to suck and it's going to cost you money and confusion and frustration. So I think that's the experience people are having.
So to add to that, there was I, I don't know if we should mention his name, although he is a lovely guy. But when he came up to me in Monterey and said, "I want to AI my entire business, so it'll save," and you guys know who I'm talking about,
Yeah.
um, and then it'll save me all this time, and I won't have to work in my business. I was like, "Oh my gosh, good luck with that!" Like that sounds like a monumental task. And he went out and he was trying to find like the appropriate people. But April and I actually spoke with him yesterday, and I'm so impressed by like how far he's come and like the steps that he's taking and like the systematic approach that he's taking to this, because he's going in and he's made a lot of progress since Monterey, but he's taking those steps and like AIing something first and seeing how it works and going back and tweaking it and doing all the things that, like, whenever he first said that in Monterey, I was like, this is what's going to need to happen. But I'm just really glad to see that is actually the approach that he's taking, and he's come a long way since then.
Yeah, and he's actually doing it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And he's got the patience and he's persevering through all of, because we all know how frustrating it is to try to get that stuff to work, try to get it to stick and have it be create the leverage instead of more like frustration and stuff you have to fix. So yeah, I think he's killing it. Even though it feels like it's just these small steps, he's absolutely killing it and way ahead of a lot of people.
I think that's the best way to win, though. And if you can just make 2% changes, saying a little thing here, a little thing there, and they continue that up, and it does save time. And I think one of the advantages of going that way as well, it starts replacing time that you use that time somewhere else to do more. So it's not like it's just, hey, let me turn all this on and walk away from my company. It's you're going to constantly find another 2%. So you're always going to be doing more, but now you're more mindful in what you're doing because everything else is kind of running. And
That'd be the idea.
yeah, but there's so many people who are like, hey, I want all this to work right now. And okay, cool, thanks. I want to step back. And
Yeah, and
it's not.
they don't even want to be a part of the planning process. Like what he's doing is he's in the trenches figuring out the steps that need to be taken and each area that needs to like have the appropriate automations. And he's learning those systems, which is really cool to see for a business owner, because a lot of people that we talk to, they don't want to learn anything new. They want somebody else to do it for them, but they only want to give them like a half-baked concept in order for them to carry forward with it and be able to completely AI their business. And I think that's where a lot of people who are on this path are failing, because they
Mhm.
aren't taking the time to go through all the steps as needed.
Yeah, and it's
And that's
super
good.
critical.
And that's good too that he's not just going, well, what's everybody else using?
Hmm.
Because what everybody else is using doesn't usually fit what somebody needs. And then they can't figure out why it doesn't work for them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And to back up a little bit to your point of like freeing up some time to do other things is people have found themselves in an unexpected position of having more time to get more ideas out. And when you do that, you're actually busier, right? You're just
That's not
busier in
you.
different.
Definitely not
Yeah.
you. And
Oh,
Heather's trying to
I'm
catch up
so
to you,
guilty
though.
of that. Hmm?
Heather's trying to catch up to you.
Oh, Heather is fast moving with a lot of ideas. Trust me.
I know.
So, so yeah, but it's cool because you're like, oh, this would be so great. I'll have more time for, working out or self-care or taking naps or whatever. But when you have somebody who is an action taker who is implementing that and they are buying their time back, it's like, okay, well, I'm buying my time back with this investment of this system or whatever. I've bought my time back, but now I have all these like maybe even bigger ideas that I can get to. And now there's just more. It's just you've scaled your ideas. You've scaled the things that you have to do. You haven't scaled solutions essentially. And I think that's an interesting dynamic because most people are just like, now that I've done that, now I've got 8 avenues going when I only had capacity for 2 before without any leverage. And I don't know that that's always helpful.
Yeah, it's like the constantly moving Mount Everest. So like
Mhm.
whenever you're able, Like AI allows you, well, it depends on what people's Mount Everest are, but they might think it's 5 years away, but then they're able to automate a lot of things and they're able to expand their capabilities and their capacity to take on new things. So it ends up being a 2 year Mount Everest instead of a 5 year Mount Everest. And then they're like, oh, now I got to go like create a new Mount Everest. And then that one might even go even faster because they have all of the systems from the first Mount Everest.
Mhm. And they're like, now what? I'm at the top. Now what?
It's just one of those little peaks, and there's another peak, and then another peak.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True. But it
And
is interesting how it just how it actually plays out, right? And there's some people who have tried it and gotten they've been frustrated, wasted a bunch of money in subscriptions and just haven't like seen it through, that have given up. And they're like they're going to come back around and maybe do it later. So I know I can think of 3 people that are like, oh, it's just too much.
I think that's another thing too. Of at what point should you learn it? Which point do you have someone else do it? And there's so
Mhm.
many people that try to hire someone on staff or do it themselves that really shouldn't be involved with any of it. Like
I
literally,
think
it's just like good.
it's more like, should I do it or should I not do it? The question should be, how involved should I be in the planning process? Because as a business owner, the person who knows your business the best is you. I've even talked to some business owners where they're just confident nobody knows their business and they're the only ones like in their whole industry that can do what they do. And it's like, I don't know if that's the case, but you do you. But
Mhm.
like they know their business the best, so really their time is best spent on what April and I and Will have been talking about for the past couple weeks in the semesters of like, okay, sit down, whiteboard out everything, and then that's where the visionary should be involved. Sure, it might like seem a little bit more technical or more like integratory for this person who has their heads in the clouds basically. It's like, no, just pull them down a little bit, put it on paper, and then go from there and give that to somebody and say, here's my vision. How can I add the tech into it,
Mhm.
Right.
where I'm
And
not tech savvy.
I think more what I was trying to get at was, and let's just take somebody that's doing fix and flips. And they're like, oh, well, I can use AI now to do my lead generation and make the phone calls and do the tech, like do all that side of it. And that'll just bring me all the leads in the world I need to do my fix and flip. Where should they just be buying deals from somebody else? Or do they learn all the automation or hire somebody and do all that and they just automatically fall to the technology going, oh, they'll just handle it all and I can go over here and do fix and flips because leads are just going to be handed to me. And then like 2 years later, they did all the software, did all the investments, did everything else, and they still have no leads.
Mhm.
I've talked to many people like that.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
at what point do they realize that they shouldn't have the technology? They shouldn't have that. They just buy the lead
two
or
years
just
later is when they realized.
Yeah.
right. But I think that should be part of that planning process in the beginning of like, is this your true business? And I think a lot of people are falling for technology for that and not realizing what their focus should be. And they're
Or
drifting into learning way
yeah.
too much that they don't need to learn. And because they did that, they lost a whole bunch of work.
Yeah. Or they're not putting their human in the loop at the right step.
Correct.
Because if they were putting their human in the loop at the right step, so of course you can use it to a level to scrape, maybe categorize, rank, and then pursue. So you can use it for that, but to completely audit, I'm not saying it's impossible. And
Mm.
some people have success depending on their strategy and their ideal profile for a lead, right? Um, it's very rare that it can happen like that and just kind of be like automatic. Um, I've seen it be more successful when people have thought through that process and spent the time refining each step, and then putting that human, so putting that acquisition manager, leader, whatever, when that when you leverage all of the repetitive kind of stuff that can be scraped and categorized and teed up to the acquisition manager, kind of like not only enriching the data, but also qualifying the data before it gets to an acquisition manager or an acquisition team. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, because you essentially have to talk to people at some point. And yeah,
Right.
you could blast out 800 LOIs, but eventually, depending on your market and your strategy, what's that going to do to your brand long term?
Right.
And it's difficult to attach a value to stuff like that, like a damage value or lost
Agree.
opportunity value. Yeah. So when people are like buying all the agents and all the bots and all the things, and it's like, for what specifically? Like, it's got to be the low risk, repetitive, easy tasks to start with.
Yeah, for sure. I was just thinking back to a conversation I had today with somebody, and they were saying that they've applied for 200 jobs and they've only been interviewed for two, and they were saying that um, they just only talk to AI for those 198. It's like that's crazy, but
Yeah,
like for those companies, is that lost opportunity because
it
they're
is.
using AI to filter through their resumes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their companies are always missing the boat with job postings, and it's always been the case. So, as you guys know, I've been a recruiter, headhunter for more than 20 years, and the same today as it was 20 years ago, 80% of jobs you get through networking. I'm not saying applying online isn't possible, like you can't get jobs that way, but it's only 20% effective. It's always only been 20% effective. So whether it was the Monster Career Builder, then it goes to Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, all of those things, 80% of jobs are filled through networking. The thing that AI has done, and like the easy apply and all of the things, is it's just created more noise for recruiters that they have to sift through. So if you have like, because people, and I always suggest to people that are looking for a job full time, like that person who's applied to 200 and interviewed twice, I'm like, you should be out and about at like meetups and stuff like that. Some people will spend 8 hours a day applying to jobs, and you're literally applying to black holes 80% of the time, because you're also at the mercy of the recruiter on the other end or the technology on the other end. So just spend 20% of your time applying to jobs online, spend the other 80% getting out and connecting, finding people on LinkedIn that you could maybe reconnect with, that or just get out and about and share with people that you are looking for an opportunity. And that's the absolute best way to do it. The worst thing that can happen is you're out socializing and you have more friends. Like, there's no downside to that, in my opinion, if you're not leading with your ask all the time, right? Like, don't lead with your need or your worries all the time. Like, hi Heather, I'm April. I'm looking for a job. Do you have any jobs? Like, not like that. You just kind of weave it in later subtly, and stuff comes up like way faster than applying online.
Well, there you go, folks. That's your your 2 to 3 minutes of finding a job advice. Because that, from what I'm hearing all over the place, like finding a job is hard, and people who, going back to our earlier conversation, people who just don't understand the market, they're blaming AI. And it's like, is it
Mhm.
really AI's fault? Is it really, or like, is it just that the market is kind of changing, and like you said, the way of applying is a little different?
I
It's been
agree.
that way for a while, like a long time before AI. Go ahead, Jamie. Sorry.
Oh, you're
Were you
good.
gonna say something? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's always been a consistent complaint from candidates as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember. Um, that's not a new frustration, I guess you could say. And it is, like I said, on the other end, it's more frustrating on the company side too, because a lot of them have not invested in good applicant tracking systems or good tech, and there's no good way to sort through those resumes. So, for instance, if I post a tech job in India, because India is one of my markets for data and technology. Overnight, I'm not even kidding you, overnight I will have 1,100 applicants, which is there's I'm not looking at 1,100 applications. That's not happening. And I actually hate posting jobs. I'd rather just go find the people that we want to hire and then engage the talent, the passive talent, versus hire somebody from a job posting. The great people do apply, but they do often get lost in the sauce, like 1,000,000%. And I'm sure I missed the boat on great people with 1,100 applicants, because you're then also at the mercy of how good is your resume written to be found in a Boolean search, because that's how most of them are found in ATS systems. So how good is your resume written, and how good is the recruiter at using the keywords to surface the talent that would be appropriate. So you're at the mercy of the skill of the recruiter and the skill of the person writing their resume to be keyword rich.
So, would you recommend ChatGPT to write your cover letter and your resume?
I would recommend that you write your resume, like you write your resume and then you put it into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your AI of choice is. Fully write it out in your own words, but don't worry about being articulate. Just like kind of get your story out for each job and communicate all of your accomplishments. I mean, all of them, everything that you could think of. And your resume could be 5 pages long. That's fine. Just get it all out, and just say, put it into AI and have ChatGPT organize it in a way that's clear, concise, marketable, and that would catch the eye of a recruiter or a hiring manager. And then I also give it the instruction of, don't make this sound like AI wrote it. I always have to go back and say that. Use natural language. Don't make it sound like AI wrote it. And then I take the job posting, and then I'm like, write this resume to this job posting. Stick to the facts that are in my resume. Don't make anything up. Don't make anything up. And it does a really, really, really good job of saying to you, you hit 4 out of 5 things on this job description, and then it'll write your resume in a way that communicates your accomplishments effectively. And then once you have that back, I would also say, I'm preparing for this interview. What's a good way for me to prepare? And what are some things that I could say to communicate my accomplishments effectively as it relates to this job? And I want to be able to demonstrate, things in a behavioral interview setting and then also in a technical interview setting. And not that you have to study it or read it word for word, just have it like handy as a cue when you're talking. Because most interviews are video to start. So just have it, as a little sticky note on your, have a window up with your notes, just like, I don't want to forget to say this about myself. So that's what I'd use AI for your job applicant. Because then when you've done that, and you can also give it the prompt of, this is likely getting reviewed by AI and teed up to the recruiter or the hiring manager, or somebody is likely just creating a search string within their huge talent pool, or it does some kind of skill ranking, or because it'll say, oh, this applicant is 82% relevant to your job or whatever. So say take into consideration the top applicant tracking systems, or in a lot of applicant tracking systems, like you can say there's Workday, there's Greenhouse, there's TA Cloud. Normally it'll say what the applicant tracking system is when you go to the company's career site. So I would say do some research on their technology and how resumes are teed up to hiring managers and recruiters, and write it in a way to where, mine will rise to the top with my real experience. And so then it gets automatically ranked higher.
There you go. That's how to get around the system.
Hashtag job seeker hacks. So yeah. Or there's one more thing, because there's just so much that you could do with this. Or you could, even if you all of the keywords, you could say, hey, what are the main keywords in this job description? you could, and this is kind of hacker-ish, but you could do it. You could take all of the keywords, and even though you're qualified for it, but you're like, I don't need to say that on my resume. It sounds too forced, but I have that experience, or it makes my resume too long. What you do is you take all of those keywords, you put them in your resume, but you make them white font. So if somebody
What?
looks on it, listen, listen, listen. I'm telling you, this is a secret. It's now on YouTube AI Hotline. So you take those keywords and you put it in white font so you can't see it. But the resume, parser, reader, whatever, still picks it up and ranks you high. So at
That's
least you
a
get a look.
that's a brilliant little workaround because think about everything else that's like parsing documents with AI.
Yeah.
All you bird dogs, like all these people with advanced systems, just throw some white text in there just to like throw off the person.
Yep,
Yeah.
that
You're
was
like,
the
why
old
is
school way
this
of. That was an old school way of doing SEO.
so
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to fall back to a question earlier. When you called Google or GoDaddy, did you end up talking to an IVR or to a live bot?
It pushed me, well, it was a bot. It was
Okay.
100% a bot because it was canned responses on the voice, like an old school bot. Um, but it directed me to text because I had to push what I wanted.
Well, if
And
you're
then
pushing,
I
then it
was
would
like,
be
"Oh,
IVR.
huh?
If you have to push, it would be the IVR.
The
So you would
interactive
be able
one?"
a bot would you'd be able to talk to you back and forth in natural voice, and
Well,
it
I
would
did
transfer
talk,
you
it
on.
was both. It was
Okay.
both. And then and so then I hit just like, "Oh, I can't do this. Just I would rather text this bot." Right? And the only way to get through to a live rep, because I used to be able to hit like 0 or 00 or nope, nope, none of that. I had to either go through that experience of the virtual assistant or get into chat. And then they're like, well, through chat, if in the chat interface, it's not able to resolve your issue, then you can access a live rep that way, which is the first time that's ever happened. And I've called GoDaddy many times.
Hmm.
And it felt very 2001. Like it felt very, it didn't feel like new stuff.
GoDaddy is pretty 2001 though, so it fits the vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my oldest domain is 2006,
I moved
2005.
all
Yeah.
mine the other day under Go High Level. They have a new button on
I
there,
just
and you
need to
push
move
it.
them
They
all.
all
I just
just
need to move them all. Yeah.
yeah,
I
all
saw
mine just went.
that.
Boop. And I'm like, what just happened?
I'm
But
just
done.
like, you're super married to go high level then. Like, what if you want to like cancel your subscription?
They're all in
Yep. And you have to
Cloudflare.
move all your domains. I
They're all in
did get,
Cloudflare.
yeah, I did buy
So
one through that. It was like the first couple days GoDaddy, or excuse me, Go High Level was like, oh, buy your domain. And I'm like,
mm,
oh, that's slick. That's slick of them.
it is.
Yeah.
It is all based on Cloudflare there, so you get all the Cloudflare backend and everything that's built in, and you can log into Cloudflare and still attach to all of them. But it's very convenient having it all in one spot.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, so if you need any other hacking tips about job applicants or getting looks of a
Well,
recruiter, let me
aren't
know.
you just supposed to say, okay, this is person hiring, and you hack in and find out who the recruiter is, and you message them directly? Aren't you supposed to skip all that input?
Well, most recruiters don't, they're not going to answer you. Like if I don't even want to tell you how many LinkedIn messages I have. There's no, the same way that I get a thousand applicants on one position. There's no possible way I could answer all of my LinkedIn messages. Literally none. Everybody's trying to sell me something or recruit me or send me their resume, which I appreciate that. And I try to get through and process as much as I can, but I also have to manage my LinkedIn recruiter messaging. So there's LinkedIn personal and there's LinkedIn recruiter. And when you reach out to people on LinkedIn Recruiter, that's where all that interface is. And that chat, kind of like, you know, how Facebook separates out the messenger. Um, LinkedIn separates out the LinkedIn Recruiter that way. And I have to prioritize that because if it's somebody that I reached out to, like I need to, and there's just no way for me to manage all of that and the personal interface. So if you haven't heard back from a recruiter, don't take it personal. It's not you, it's a message crisis.
You should get
It
AI.
is. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's I mean, it's real. Like, and especially if somebody, and I never post on a job that I'm the recruiter. I leave that anonymous. Otherwise, it'd be way, way, way worse. Way worse. So, so similarly to people saying, I'm applying to 200 jobs, recruiters are like, I have 200 messages and there's not enough time in the day because I'm also interviewing 5 to 8 people a day, sending over the notes, getting them coordinated, getting offers out, doing all the things. And they can't effectively do that unless they're like a recruiter could be on 24/7. 24/7. It is something that doesn't sleep typically because some of this is time sensitive and you have to flex to candidates availability. If it's a if it's hard to find talent, you just got to flex. And so, you know, consider the employer, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of opportunity for AI in any type of acquisition space, right? So property, people,
Yep.
definitely a lot. But yeah, well, that's all I had for today. I don't know if you guys, if you have anything else like super enlightening to share.
What's going on with AI momentum? Where things are? Where's the next class?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, San Diego.
yeah. We've got the place picked out. We're having a virtual one as well. So we're teeing up the San Diego one with a virtual one a couple of days earlier than that. So virtual is October 22nd, and then San Diego is October 24th and 25th.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because we found also, in the virtual one, it's a little bit different experience. Of course, a ton of value, but it's 1 day instead of 2 days. And virtual, people learn a lot. We have interactive exercises. They're getting stuff done on their desk. But then they're like, man, I'd really like to take this a little bit further. So to give that instant gratification, and if somebody wants to is close to San Diego or would like to get there really quick, they can have the instant gratification of the 2 day in person, because then there's the in person networking opportunity to make new friends, build alongside of people, and I feel like just a lot more comes out in the in person. Um, and it's just fun. And it's fun to experience other people's like, ahas, or I got it to work, or this is going to save me so much time. Like it's
Or
really
just
rewarding.
I loved the Atlanta one because it was like clear, like, to use an AI word, clarity in their business.
Yeah, that actually works.
Yeah, and
Actually is another word.
it
And while
doesn't.
they're at the AI momentum, they can meet the recruiter. That would be smart, right?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
recruiter.
Yes. So if you are looking to hire or if you're looking to get hired, I can help you out.
Awesome. How about the semesters and classes? Tell us more about that and what's going on. Who
Yeah,
can get
that's
in?
super exciting. We're actually already halfway done with it. Can't believe
I
it. It's
know.
been kind of a whirlwind. But we're teaching 6 classes. We've gotten 3 done. So the first one was like an intro. Then we did one that focused on systems and whiteboarding out concepts and like really dialing in those processes. And then this week was on teams. So like figuring out who's like your org chart, who's in the right seats, your SOPs, your KPIs, and then next week is going to be where it really gets interesting because we're going to be talking about automations, and then the following week is AI. So that's going to be super exciting too.
Yeah. The next two are going to be, I mean, they've all been really great. We've had great participation, great retention. So the people who show up stay there, which is, that's a huge compliment to us because we put a lot of work in prepping and us getting a decent amount of reps in with all of the other education that we've done in the AI Momentum Labs, at Owners Club, in breakout sessions, Squad Up breakout sessions. All of that just contributes to our experience of being able to deliver these semesters in a meaningful way. And it is a little stressful, but it's also really exciting. And so at the end of it, we're always like, wow, that's, went way better than expected.
It's so cool because we're able to have a direct impact on so many people's businesses.
Yeah.
So, like, specifically the systems one so far, like, for people to be able to think through their business and map it out, like, that's such a foundational step that most people don't do.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And, it sounds like, to some people, they're like, oh, that sounds fun. And to others, they're like, oh, I don't have time for that. But the fact of the matter is, and we try to reiterate this over and over and over again, and sometimes it doesn't stick until the 100th time you've heard it, but you're going to spend the time on it anyway, either in the beginning, mapping it out, or in the middle and at the end, putting out fires. Like, where do you want to spend your energy? Right. So if you just spend your energy up front, all of the rest is a little bit more harmonious and scalable. And you just have to go back to the start anyway. So, we try to instill that in people, but it's still difficult to get, you know, some people that are just going in a million directions. I mean, us included, we go in a million directions, but to sit down and actually do that.
I agree. And who's available to attend the semesters? And is it just like, is anybody available, or is it got to be a member?
Got to be a member of Sub 2, Top Tier TC, or Gator. Um, but yeah, it's been an interesting semester because they're trying out the Discord, so the Creative Community Campus, and so it's like, do you have to be part of the Discord? And then a lot of the like announcements are through Discord, and it's different this semester than it was like even the previous one because the marketing channels are different. Not everyone has adopted it yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you feel
Yeah.
that you'll carry these semesters over to AI Momentum?
Yeah, I mean, it comes from a lot of foundational things that we've already been teaching. So the structure, the framework of the class that we're teaching actually came from our first Momentum Lab. We use a different acronym that I could not remember to save my life. I think it was the SAVE framework.
It was save, and all the letters were meaningful, but it was just too hard to remember.
Well, it was difficult because A was not automations.
Yes. It was AI, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like just too hard to remember and confusing.
Mhm.
And so what I got asked to lead this masters, I think right after our first, or maybe it was while I was up there w- preparing for the workshop. I got asked, and so I ended up sitting down and going through the curriculum and everything, and came up with Stack. So that's what
Right
we're
here in this room,
yeah.
on this whiteboard desk, I
Yeah.
think.
So
Yeah.
that's where we prepped for our first workshop was in
Yeah.
Nicole's office.
Yes.
But Stack makes so much more sense, and it's something that's very memorable. Like I can just say it off the tip of my tongue. And we also taught on that in the breakout session in Monterey. We use
Mhm.
Stack. We specifically use that acronym. Which
Mhm.
Stack, for our listeners who are not part of our semesters, it's systems, teams, automations, cognition or AI, and to keep scaling. And the reason we put it in that order is because that's the order of operations you need to do it in your own business. So it's layers that stack on top of each other.
Yes.
We pretty much made it through the hour. You guys have any office hours or anything like that going on, or anything else you want to throw in?
Yeah, so we have Office Hours for Owners Club every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Mhm.
We're revamping it. So today we just got official access to the OC Zoom, and we're renaming the office hours. Actually, I don't think we've even told you, Jamie. Did
Guess
you
what,
see the email?
Jamie?
I did see the email.
Okay, good.
Surprise! It's renamed.
No, I was more surprised when I jumped on the Zoom today and I went right back off. I'm like, okay, bye.
That's my
Yeah,
Zoom's
and
fault.
then besides that, I have a couple of things that I'm launching. So I just launched a school community specifically for integrators. So for everyone who is trying to think about how to build things out for their business, but they're not specifically the person to build it out, then this is the community of people that I'm building to build those things out. And then so that's going to be like the core, the nucleus of this whole thing. And then I'm also building a kind of a service or interface on top of it where you can put in that you need somebody that can do that, and then that will directly go into that community and kind of be like opportunities for these integrators to be able to work with people. So it's win-win for everybody.
It's
How
awesome.
many times have you seen the post, I need an integrator? That's where they go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you, Jamie?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm just continuing to build workflows and automations in the background and building some add-on things on for Go High Level and Notion and some of that to help basically everything you guys are teaching, bring that to life for a lot of people that need the help.
Well, we're hoping by the time they get to you, they know how to articulate there's not only their system,
I just,
their workflow, like
I just know Heather's going to send me the PDR and it's all good and
yeah,
everything's in place and we're really good to go. And like, it's simple.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they know how to communicate upgrades and enhancements.
Yeah.
If
We'll
anybody
see.
feels like they can't communicate that, then that's what I'm here for. I do
Mhm.
consulting to help whiteboard out or just build a plan to give to someone like Jamie who can do all of the technical stuff.
Yes.
And then
And
we
it'd
have
make
Will that
Jamie's life so much easier.
so much easier.
Be
And
like,
then,
you can't even come to me until you've be like, this is the prerequisite for working with me.
and then from there, we just plug it in with Will and he does all the marketing and we're good to go.
Yes.
Everything's
Yes.
smooth for everybody.
Exactly. The funnel master marketing. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Sounds awesome.
Cool.
Any, if anyone wants to send any information or any updates or anything for what they want us to speak about next week, feel free to send it over, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the or not happy hour. Happy hour sounds good too.
Happy hour.
Probably on the
This
office
is
hour.
Thirsty Thursday, Jamie. Maybe
I
you
knew
are
it.
right.
It kicked in. I'll be over in 20 minutes, but I'm good. If does anybody else have anything else to say?
All good. All good. We love suggestions.
All right. So I guess we'll see everybody next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.